17. Here joined with Ava Haven, Jessica Willock, and Brianna Dixon. We are 4 Chicks, No Script. And today we're recording at the Solano Community College Fairfield campus. And today we'll be talking about the life of a student athlete. Our first segment is the struggle to put student before athlete. Ava, would you like to start us off today?
Sure. You guys know how many hours are in a regular week?
How?
5 days, 24 hours a day. That's 120 hours of our week. And for volleyball, for practices and games, that's like 3 to 4 hours almost every single day. And for a normal week of volleyball, that's around 17 hours per player. That's crazy. Yeah.
And isn't like a full work week like 70 hours? 70? My goodness, 40.
Yeah, I think it is.
So it's like a part-time job at this point. Wow.
I think that doesn't even include like driving to practice, driving home from practice, getting ready for practice. Like, I feel like all those little extra things add probably another hour to like.
And school.
Yeah.
Like classes before and or after practice. There's a few people that have after.
Yeah, I was always told you are a student athlete and student comes first before athlete. And so it'd be weird in high school for volleyball games when I'd be taken out of classes which are like 2-3 hours or like probably 2 or 1 hour, but still that's the time that I could be working on an assignment rather than no, you're going on a bus trip to an away game, and it's just like, okay, now I have to cram that all in the bus when I can just be in a school environment and a setting doing work rather than other students getting that time and effort.
And now it's just like extra work onto what you already have to do. Like, you have an assignment, but now you also have to make up for like all the stuff you missed in class. Like, you have to get the information you missed in class, and sometimes the teachers aren't like as forgiving with that, and it's like, oh, just go look in the textbook. So now it's like sometimes, or you have to ask like a classmate or something to now try to get all the information you missed just so you can do the assignment. And so you're now having to like spend extra time which you wouldn't have done if you were able to be in class.
Yeah, exactly. And all throughout my high school career, all of the coaches that I've had, and that's going from JV all the way to varsity, we would always have to stay at the games. Like, you have to be there to watch Frosh play, JV, bar. Even if you played on Frosh, you had to stay. The later we went in, it was just varsity that had to stay throughout the whole thing. But when I was a freshman, and I came from a very small town that literally, like, it was one building, K through 8. That was my whole life. And then COVID happened, and we did the online. I never had a block schedule like that where we moved from class to class. So I was struggling because it's a brand new thing. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, you have an essay due at midnight. But I have to be at school for 4 hours to watch other games until my own game.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the corner in the stands, and all the coaches are like, you need to be cheering. And you're like, yay, go homework.
Well,
Yeah.
what was new for me, because like I grew up playing soccer, and then high school is when I joined volleyball. And what I didn't know was that like we have to ref the games too.
Yeah,
so
same.
like that was new for me because I'm trying to go and like either do homework or cheer, but they're like, oh, you need to do lines or you need to do book or like lip sheet. And first off, like freshman year, I don't even know what any of that is. So now I'm having to learn, and then I'm having to spend my time doing that. And then sometimes I'm even having to like skip warm ups because I need someone to do lines. So it's like my team's warming up and I'm doing lines, and so it's like all the time like you think you have before your game at like 6, you actually don't have because you need to get your stuff, get ready, rep, do all those things before you can even think about your game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was the same as you. I didn't start volleyball until my freshman year. And when they told me, they're like, oh, you have to go work. I was like, work what exactly? And then they'd be on the court, and I'm over in the snack shack outside because they needed a player out there. And they're like, Jessica, where were you? You were supposed to be warming up with the whole team. I'm like, no one told me. When did we even start playing? It was weird. The culture shock was crazy. And then even as a senior, you have to teach everyone else. And you think, oh, I get a laid back time, I have to do my homework. And then you have to teach everyone. But then your classmates are in AP classes, and if you're not, then you have to take over all the other jobs. And I remember even at the very beginning of the college season, I got a call right before one of these podcasts, actually, that was one of my old teammates calling me to like, hey, the scoreboard's not working. And they called me because they were like, well, you were the only one that knew how to use the scoreboard. I was like, guys, I taught 4 people how to do the scoreboard. Do you know how to do that? And they're like, oh, we didn't listen. I was like, so did you guys go turn on the panel that turns on the whole scoreboard? And they're like, oh, no, we didn't. We didn't turn on the scoreboard. I was like, girls, turn on the scoreboard, plug in the machine. And then they did. And they're like, oh, it works. I'm like, Congratulations, though. You got that.
It's always that freshman versus senior perspective too, especially with freshmen. Like I remember some of the varsity players, the seniors, the juniors, the
Yeah.
people who we look up to, and they were telling us we need to do better on this. Like I remember them holding
Yes.
like stuff against me, like when I acknowledged, I made a mistake. That was my bad. That was like a bad call or something. And then even with that too, I'm cheering. I'm putting in my effort into cheering, but I'm also trying to prioritize my schoolwork.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't get it. And then when we got to like varsity for like our senior year and everything, then it's like why aren't you doing that? But then we have to think, we were that kid just a couple years prior,
Yeah.
So,
Or what was new to me in volleyball was like having to set up and break everything down. Like it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like for soccer, the goals are just left there. Like if we think of anything like cones. So then volleyball was like, oh, you need to set up this net, the like ref stand, this table. Like there's so much equipment. So like even after your game, you still have stuff you have to do because it's like you can't just grab your stuff and go. Now you need to get the trash out of the stands, break down the net. Like there's so much you need to do. So like I said, those 4 hours you thought between school and your game that you had to do schoolwork and like maybe the few hours after like are all taken up. Like it's not just the game, which is what I feel like people see. Like, oh, you have a game, you have time before, you have time after, but it's like the game has so much more to it that I don't have time for schoolwork before or after. So it's like the only time I end up having is like late night hours. So now I'm having to like sacrifice sleep to do that, and now my body's tired from the game, and it's just like then you start building that constant cycle of doing that every game day, and it's just like this unhealthy cycle you start creating.
Yeah, and even on practice days, like my teachers be like, well, you have a half hour before practice, just come in and see me. But that half hour is getting changed, getting my hair up, going into the court, setting up the court, and then putting on my shoes, and then hoping everyone makes it on time so we don't have to run sprints. Because if you made it 1 minute late, 1 minute per sprint, I remember that. Yeah.
That being said, there's just so much in school life to balance out with or the volleyball life in my
Yeah.
opinion. But I read that in the NCAA article in 2022 that 76% of athletes struggle in school. But generally, I don't think I struggle that much, or I don't think I even struggle really at all. I don't want to flex it out or anything, but I keep that in the back of my mind to really focus on what I have for volleyball, for just practice or even a game too. So with like trying to balance school and volleyball, it's semi easy here and there. But that being said, that doesn't mean I do sometimes bad on a test or whatnot. It's just like I'm able to manage it through my time, and I'm really thankful for that, honestly.
Yeah, I will definitely say before now I was not a part of the 76%. I was always a straight A student. I graduated, a little flex. I graduated top 25 in my class. Very proud of that. But then now that I'm here, it's thank you. Top 25 in my class was crazy, and everyone was like, "Wow!" Because I'm a younger person, so I'm the youngest person on our volleyball team, and I always was the younger person in all my friend groups. So they were all like, "Wow, that's crazy! You're 17, you're top 25, you're graduating, now you're going on to community college, and now I'm here. Thank you." But now I'm here, and I'm like, "Wow, maybe I should have stayed back when I had the opportunity because this is hard." You think it's easy in high school because the teachers are very helpful, you have more time on things, but now that you're in this environment, you're like, whoa, I didn't even know that there was such thing as an essay being due at the start of class to midnight. And it's a 3-page essay that's research. It was crazy.
I feel like the difference that I've noticed is like in high school, like there was set times for each of your classes, and that was like you're gonna use that time for your class. And I feel like college is kind of more like you have this set time for instruction. Like you get instruction in this hour, but you have to go spend another 3 hours like doing homework.
Exactly.
And I feel like some of the professors don't notice that like, yeah, you're telling me, oh yeah, it's only 2 hours, but I have 3 other professors telling me it's only 2 hours of homework. So now like that all adds up. You're telling me 6 hours of homework, and it's like my brain can't even work for 6 hours straight on homework. So I'm trying to break it up, but it's like I don't have enough time in a day for all that. And then when you try to add like a practice in there too, it's like there just isn't enough hours in a day. Even if I tried, like, and you're telling me 2 hours to study to get an A, and it's like there's physically not enough hours in a day to do that. Then that's where you kind of have to start making sacrifices that end up like affecting your mental health or your sleep schedule, your diet, or things like that, because you have to give up something in order to make up for those lost hours.
Yeah, and like when it comes to sleep schedules, I read somewhere on like Global Town School an article, and it was like 46% of student athletes have sleep problems, which I totally understand because personally, sometimes I don't go to bed till late, and then I have to wake up super early for class, and it's crazy because everyone's like, well, just study in the morning or study at night. But the thing is, you're so tired from all that exhaustion from practice, the not good sleeping hours, not consistent, that it affects your ability to focus, and it just makes everything harder to even think. Because I'll find myself spacing out when people are talking to me. I'm like, wait, guys, let's redo that. What were you saying?
And you would be like spacing out on like something in volleyball. It's like
Yes.
so off topic to what like calculus is. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in a classroom right
Or
now.
even just done homework, like I go from practice, I'm trying to do homework and I read the problem, and I'm like, it sounds like a foreign language sometimes. Like I gotta read it over
Exactly,
and
yeah.
over, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, I genuinely just can't. Like my brain is so like unfocused. You can't do homework right now.
We had a big exam the other day, and it was a stats exam. I'm really hopeful I did well on it, but I studied for 6 hours the day before. I just sat down, no phone, 6 hours of study just so I could try to remember everything. And the next day, I took the test, feel like I did well, but then we had a game the next day, and I still had what I called it stats brain because I'm still thinking about everything. So even volleyball, something that I've been doing passionately for years, is like foreign to me. The passing, I was like, okay, log back in, we gotta do this. And then we had stats this morning. I was like, what is probabilities? I don't understand this anymore.
Even for classes too, I feel like if you don't have a good sleep routine, which especially with right now with college, I think one of our most recent games we got back, I think we were planning on getting back at midnight, but luckily we got home at like 9:30, 10ish, right? But that was an away game, so that was fun. But I remember in high school, I really struggled with just staying awake in class, and so I remember like either before or like after lunch, that's when it would hit me, and I'd like instantly fall asleep.
Yeah.
Unless I had an engaging class, I would use up all my energy for like student council or stuff where it was like more hands-on stuff where I need to be moving around, and then that exert my body even more, and then it was just I'm out, and then I don't have time after school to sleep, and so with doing volleyball and even with other stuff, because I've talked to other players who've done multiple sports, and how do you do that? Like I couldn't even get through doing theater or like choir after school without being twice as exhausted.
I feel like that's not talked about as much either as like multi-sport athletes. That's what I did like freshman, sophomore year. Like I said, I played soccer my whole life, so I'm playing soccer and then also playing volleyball. So then I also like freshman, sophomore year, I was like leaving volleyball practice 30 minutes early to get to soccer practice 30 minutes late. So it's like now instead of like spending 2 hours on a practice, I'm spending 4 hours on a practice after school, and so now I'm having even less time, and then like my weekends are taken up by game day, so it's like weekends aren't time to study either, but it's like everyone just sees my school sport because that's what everyone's like going to and everyone's seeing, so everyone thinks my weekends are open, but like my club sports now taking up my weekends, and I don't have those weekends for that either, and so like it's even less time. Or people that play like 2 high school sports at a time, like they have even less time for school.
Well, that being said, the struggle is real for student athletes. I want to say that. But that brings us to our next topic of balancing the social life and the student athlete. Jess, would you like to bring us up?
I'd love to. My whole life I've been a student athlete. Ever since I was little, I was with like get me out on the soccer field. I played soccer for 7 years, and then I went on to basketball, volleyball. I did everything I could do, but at the same time, I always struggled with getting out and seeing friends and family. I was always the kid that like, yes, I want to go, but can you not do it on the weekend? Like, I know it's your birthday, but can we celebrate on Monday? Because I don't have practice Monday, but I do have a game on Thursday or Saturday. And like even in high school, one of my coaches was one of the years she was like, okay, every day of the week we're having something. We had tournaments on the weekends, we had practices during the week and games. And then my friends were like, oh, why don't you just skip practice? Can't you just skip the one game? It's just one game, guys. You can just skip it. Oh, but you can just miss the assignment because that doesn't matter, right? Like, skip the assignment, come hang out. You can still go to practice. But what they don't understand is the fact that I've I struggled to go through all of that, and I can't miss an assignment because then my grade's gonna go down, and then my coach is gonna make me sit out because I missed an assignment that was worth half my grade. And it's really interesting. I was actually, when I was reading up on this, a lot of uh, athletes suffer from like just social, oh my goodness, what's the word?
Isolation?
Isolation. Thank you. Social isolation, where they're so focused on their training, gym, sleep, studies that they completely forget that, oh shoot, I need to go say hi to my family,
Yeah.
and let alone even going out to parties and hanging out with friends. Because my friends are always like, hey, you want to go eat? You want to go do this? I'm like, so I have practice until this time. I gotta go shower. I gotta go get ready. Gotta do homework. So why don't we hang out at 9, and then I can leave at 10 and go to bed. And
I feel
yeah.
like what people don't notice is like how much it can like negatively affect your relationships with like family and friends, just because like they get hurt by the fact that you don't have time to see them or show up for them and be there for them. But it's like I barely have time to show up for myself, and it's like I'm not trying to be selfish, but it's like I don't have enough time. And some like I've had a lot of friends that didn't grow up playing sports, so they don't understand what it's like, and so it's like they're taking that personally. Like I don't want to spend time with them, all this and that, and it's like you don't understand. Like I made this commitment to this team, like I made that first, so I need to fulfill that before I can like go hang out with you for fun. Like you'll still be there, but that's like what a good friendship should be. Like I should be able to just go see you like when it's possible. But I've noticed like my friends that didn't play sports, like it just doesn't like click for them. Like they didn't grow up with the same like morals and characteristics that like I did from sports, so it's like hard for them to grasp onto like those concepts.
I'm very guilty on that family issue because, like, I used to be able to go out every summer with my family and go camping, but no, in summer, instead of like a free, like, do whatever I want, go camping kind of issue, no, I'm conditioning for like 4 hours. And yeah, same thing. I can't even take care of myself. So I do have to take that time and energy to just relax whenever I need it. And especially on the weekends, like, that's a time where I can fully relax. Instead, no, my friends are like, hey, come out, come hang with us, like, just spend time with us for like 1 hour. So I'm like, girl, I can't manage all of that. Like, I need to take care of myself when I have it.
Yeah.
And then it's the days where I don't have anything and I feel fine, where like no invite, nothing's going on. It's just like,
Exactly.
okay, so the day that I'm not busy, you guys,
Or I feel like one thing I see on like TikTok all the time is how like athletes eat dinner alone, which is like something that I feel like
Crock-pot dinners.
is not like talked about enough in a sense of like it genuinely is kind of like sad when you have to come home, or sometimes it's like dinner's packed up or something, like you have to go find something to eat, like oh we're all gonna go out to dinner, so like you have to grab something on the way home, like something like that, because like athletes normally don't get home till like 8 or later than that, and it's like most families eat dinner like around 7 o'clock, so it's like they all sit down and eat together, and then it's like I come home and I'm eating in my room, or I'm eating like in the kitchen by myself, and it's like like there's like a disconnect between you and your family, and like you don't get to, that's a simple part of like sitting down and having a meal together. I feel like that's where a lot like catching up gets done. It's like now that's getting taken out because you have practice to like they have work, so they all need to go
Yeah,
to sleep earlier.
I totally feel that. When I did club volleyball, it would be from like 7 to 9:30 or something, somewhere around that time, 8:10 to 9:30, and it was in like 20, 30 minutes away, depending on traffic, and then I have to get home, and they're already asleep, so then I have to make myself dinner, and half the time they're like, hey, we made this, we had this, it's in the fridge, sorry. And my parents were always so nice about it. They're like, we tried to save some for you, we definitely did, but you're gonna have to reheat it. And it's just kind of crazy how much that a lot of people don't understand that. It's I'm getting home and eating dinner alone in the kitchen. Every once in a while, since my brother stays up super late, we'll have nice conversations, but the amount of times that I've been left out of plans that the whole family's doing, they'll plan it, but then I won't find out till the day before. Like they've checked my schedule, they know I'm free, but they don't tell me. So I'm expecting to be able to study, relax, do all of that, and then all of a sudden it's like we're supposed to be going to your aunt and uncle's house for his birthday. Wait, what? I thought his birthday was 3 weeks ago. I didn't know that we were going now. What's going on?
Even on the nights where we are lucky enough, because my brother also plays a sport too. The nights that we are lucky enough to even just be up at the same time, be like, okay, you want dinner? Yeah, let's have something. And so half of the time we'll like sit and we'll eat and we'll be watching TV. We don't even sit around the dining room table anymore because we never have time for it.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah, that's what I do with my brother. He stands on one side of the island, I stand on the other, and every once in a while, because we both have stuff playing, because we both need to relax. He has a full-time job. I'm just coming home from my full-time job of volleyball, maybe work, and I'm just trying to eat. He's eating, and then he goes, Did you see the thing on the news? Yeah, I saw it. It's like those little conversations. They
Yeah.
seem kind of dumb to other people, but it's so nice because I get to hear about how his day was at work and little bits. Both of us are exhausted, but then he's really into coding, and then he'll try to help me understand that. Those little moments with your family every once in a while when you find them awake is amazing. But the other night it's just like, oh, I'm the only one in this house right now. It's great.
Not only family, but like friends too. If
Yeah.
I just like see them at the gym or like even just grocery shopping, and then like you catch up with them just a little bit, but just enough.
Yeah.
It's so nice compared to just not seeing them at all. And it's just like not seeing those friends or family, it like loses friendships or relationships.
As much
overall.
as it like has like such a negative effect on us, I feel like it does also make us notice like how wholesome the small moments are. Like you said,
Yeah.
like just seeing someone like in the grocery store or something, like we don't have ever have time to see each other, but somehow we ended up in the same place at the same time, and so I can give you a quick hug, like see how you're doing, and like we both move on. But like those small moments end up meaning so much more. Like you said, like the small interactions in the kitchen, like me and my mom, like our schedule doesn't line up very often, but like she'll be up and I'll be eating dinner, so she'll stay in the kitchen with me, and
Yeah.
like we get to have a quick chat where there's like I have a lot of siblings, so like there's no siblings around, there's no one in the house, like it's just me and her in the moment, and it's like all those become more wholesome because we don't get like as much time to see everybody as like everyone else does.
Yeah, I love those times, and especially when you get to be like the errand friend with your friends. Like, hey, I'm going.
Yeah.
I need to go get gas. You want to come with me? I don't want to go alone. Like, yes, sign me up. I got the snacks. We can talk for about 30 minutes, and then I gotta go do homework. But then 30 minutes always turns into 3 hours.
They're just so
Yeah.
valuable. Like I can't afford to lose them and
Exactly.
lose volleyball. But, like even though it's, I guess the sacrifice, like you said, is just like the mental or like the time and energy of it. It's worth it, honestly.
It's worth
in
it.
both sides, I'd say. So
Yeah.
I went to a volleyball camp, and Merced and one of the players, like we're just like at the end of the camp, they all like sit down and give you advice or ask them. And one of the biggest things she said is like, do it even when you're tired, and that like stuck with me a lot because like it does get hard, and I'm not saying that everybody can afford to do everything tired all the time, but it's like that stuck with me a lot because it's like, yeah, I'm tired. I had a tournament this weekend, but like you want to go get Suzuki's. It's like I haven't seen you in a month. Like I'll go get the Suzuki's, even though I'm sweaty. I'm in my practice clothes. Like I have it assigned. Like sometimes, like I do sacrifice the things I need to do for the things I want to do,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's something that a lot of athletes like struggle to learn how to do. Like you can sacrifice some things for like fun. You just have to know like the right things so you don't end up like stressing yourself out or skipping a practice or something. But like learning how to balance those things is like it's healthy in a way. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. So like sometimes you like choose yourself at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough now to have those friends that totally understand, and even those that haven't played sports that are like, you can't hang out, that's fine. I'll come over and literally just sit in your bed for a while and we can watch TikTok or whatever. Or like, you need to do homework, okay, then I don't go to college, but I mean, I'll come over and sit with you, I guess.
Yeah.
Just, it's that quality time. No words need to be shared. Like, I have one of my best friends lives in Texas. I met her a year ago and we just like clicked. And she's busy on her own, so every once in a while we'll just FaceTime, sit there together, and she's doing her EMT work while I'm doing my work. And it's just that quality time of the little moments that are just so amazing. And I really like how you said you gotta sacrifice some things so then you could still keep up that bit of time so you don't fall into that 46% of the social isolation. Wow. And just be with your friends and be with your people, because even though you're exhausted, half the time when you go out with them, they recharge your battery. Yeah, it's just all of the laughing that can happen. It's happiness.
so wholesome.
Yeah.
Admiring.
I love it.
Actually, another part of a student athlete that's a big thing is the physical and the mental toll, which is our next segment. That Bree, would you like to start us off into?
Yeah, I feel like one thing a lot of people know, like I've grown up an athlete my whole life, and like recently I've stepped away from that part of my life for mental health reasons, which I feel like is something that is definitely being brought up more now, like at the professional level. You see like athletes actually stepping down because of mental health, but it's definitely still something that's being adjusted to. Like people aren't used to it, and people aren't, it's not like normal yet, because people still have a lot of like, oh, but you're a great athlete, like why would you ever step down, like because you're depressed, and people like try to joke about it, and it's like it's not that easy, and for someone to actually take this step away is a lot harder than people think it actually is. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm depressed, so I'm like shutting everything out. It's like when you are an athlete your whole life, sports are something you don't shut out. Like that's normally you're like almost like a form of therapy. Like that's what you go to cope. So having to step away from that is normally a lot harder than people think. But
that means like it's actually serious. And so for an athlete to step away and say like, okay, like I'm gonna focus on this takes a lot more strength than people notice. And so like I said, it's good that it's becoming like more talked about, but I think it should be talked about more in like the high school and college levels too, because right now it's just professional levels, and everyone's kind of, I feel like, giving them grace because it's like, oh, I love you, like you're a professional athlete, like here's some grace. But it's like, oh, like let's look at how much pressure we're putting on college and high school athletes, and like actually sit down and like give them some tools and help them so it doesn't come to like they need to step away from it, because there is a lot of mental toll on like athletes, like we said.
I'm genuinely like so happy and proud of you
Yeah.
for taking that step back and focusing on yourself, because a lot of athletes, like you said, they don't do that. And we even had, as a group thing with the basketball girls here, we had a like therapy through sports presentation with the speaker, and he was very much on, you need to focus on who you are, what your identity is, and your mental health, because that's what's most important. If your physical health is here, you can be messed top of your game, but your mental health is here.
Yeah.
Your confidence is just gonna lower, and then you're playing, you're just gonna not do well. And going off what you said with like depression mentally, and all student athletes are at much higher risk of being depressed, which a lot of people would be surprised, because like you're getting the good endorphins from exercising, you all have the good grades, which, let's be honest, not all of us do. But and then they're like, well, you're with your teammates all the time, you just have a great friend group with them. But in reality, it's the it's hard. You never get to see your family, like we said before, and you're just higher risk of seeing those depressive aspects. Yeah, symptoms. Thank you. And like also, I think women are at 30% of all female athletes are have anxiety, and 25% of male athletes have anxiety, which is kind of crazy to me that female anxiety is higher. I thought it'd be kind of even, but it's just crazy to see the numbers with how it affects all of us, because you think it's just me. Like I'm the only one that's feeling like I'm being left out, but then when you're in the brain of your teammate, they're like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore, I need to go see people, or I can't see my people. It's kind of crazy, the mental toll.
It's so hard too, because especially with volleyball and everything, coaches have told us probably throughout like middle school, high school, whatever is going off like around the court, like off the court, don't bring it on the court.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Yes.
it's always been something where I've seen volleyball as therapy. And when I've started to like, fall into that, am I, good enough? Am I doing this right? Am I doing that wrong? Like, kind of just hyperfixating on the things that don't matter, because, ball nose angles and like all this and that we learn from other coaches, little things that we pick up. And so it's something where, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. It's something that you see it as a therapy, and so it's like, oh, do I really enjoy this as a therapy? Because a lot of the time, sometimes it feels like you're pushing down emotions. Like, I remember, being super upset about something, and you just go to practice, and that was how I could just forget it. It was just like hit the ball until you just forget it. Put all your energy, put all your anger, put all your frustration into hitting the ball, into setting the ball out as far as you could. Just like it's like imagining the ball is like your problem. You're just like passing.
Like even when they teach me to kick a soccer ball or something, they're like, pretend it's someone you don't like.
Yeah, your enemy's face is on that ball, kick it.
Using those emotions like towards your sport. It's like, I feel like those bonds were built at like such a young age. It just like kept going, and like it is a form of therapy, but I feel like there's lots of like pros and cons to that. Like I feel like it did help me, but I was also like pushing down a lot of problems by just like doing my sport, or like if I wasn't practicing, I was in the gym like doing some form of like, oh, I'll just keep practicing. I'll just push down like whatever I'm feeling and like practice or something. But it's like I wasn't actually dealing with the problems, and now that I like step back and I can look at it as a picture, like I'm actually able to see it. And like I like how you brought up, they said something about like knowing who you are, because I feel like I said, playing sports my whole life, it's all I've ever known. That's what I identified myself as. Like, I am an athlete, like, that's who I am. But now it's like, okay, well, it comes to a point in your life at some point where you're probably not going to be an athlete. And so it's like, I have to find who I am outside of just being that athlete. And so, like, finding myself in the gym or something, because I've noticed how much I, like, counted on, like, that athletic validation. Like, or even just, like, small things in high school, like, counting on the validation, like, being on varsity, being a captain, like, that's who I was. Like, people ask like what I did, my free time, all this. It's like, oh, I play sports. Like I'm a captain. I play this position. Like that's all I ever talked about. Like I'm not artistically inclined. I'm not musically inclined. There's nothing else like that. I'm just an athlete. So like now that I'm not an athlete, it's like there's pros and cons to it. Like I said, I can focus on my mental health, but there's also like a lot more weight that now I have to learn to like work through because it's like now I'm not an athlete. So it's like, okay, well, who am I? Or like kind of like trying to find that validation in different ways because now I'm not an athlete. Like, and I see everyone posting like jerseys and stuff like this, and it's like, okay, well, that's not me. And so like I need to figure out like that doesn't make me less of a person now that I'm not an athlete because like that's what I've known my whole life. Like that's what I found that validation through, and it's like and also learning to like not seek that validation and be okay with like who I am without any type of like validation through a sport is hard, but stepping back has definitely helped me like give me that time to like look at who I am and like look at those pieces. I'm like, okay, well, I do need to like fix that and work on that, and that might be more broken than I thought, but it's okay because we have time to like work on that now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty scared for the time when they're like, okay, your volleyball season's over. You're never doing this again, and you just gotta be like, oh, shoot, I just gotta work for the rest of my life. Like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
hard to find who I am because, like you, I've always said, oh, I was the varsity captain. I do this. I'm like, well, what do you do other than that? I'm like, oh, I mean, I read. I love books, but that's about it. They're like, oh, well, do you go hang out with your friends all the time? Where's your favorite place to go? I'm like, well, we traveled when I was younger when the sports weren't as important. Yeah.
Or even like I feel like your friends are normally your teammates. Like
Yeah.
my friends are my teammates. I feel like my hoodies are sports hoodies. Like everything in my life is so revolved around that sport that now that I'm not doing a sport, it's so crazy to see how much of my life was really like I just put all my high school stuff like in a bucket and like half my closet is like soccer, volleyball, track, like clothes. And I'm just like half of my wardrobe is even like based upon sports. Like your whole life is kind of when you're an athlete, your whole life is kind of like revolved around that.
Even right now, like this beautiful lady made me this hoodie for my 17th birthday, and it has my number on it from when I was younger. I was Willock number 14. I'm number 18 right now, but it's crazy how it follows you around because I look at my closet daily and I'm like, well, that's from high school, that's from high school, that's from club. And you don't want to walk around college now wearing all of your volleyball stuff because you're like, I want to be a new person, I want to be me. But at the same time, that is who you are right now, and it's pretty hard. And I always use volleyball as a crutch, like you guys said earlier. It's like a form of therapy. Before my senior year, I had a really big loss in my life, and I didn't fully take in any of it until 3 months later when volleyball season was over because I was going through tryouts at the time. So I just like had it leave my mind, and all I focused on was volleyball, volleyball, volleyball. And then when it was over, I was like, oh my god, I actually can feel these emotions now. Let's go back to club. And then I joined club, and I was cool. But it took me a while to get through all those emotions because it was really my crutch. Because, like you said, coaches were like, just take it out on the court, all of your sadness, all of your anger, and then you're over. And then they're like, well, then, but leave it off the court. And you're like, make it make sense because it's on the court at all times with me. It's not something I can take out and set down. It's gonna be with you, and it's hard, but it's also something that I've slowly learned how to not use volleyball as a crutch and just enjoy it as a game. Because, and like you said, our teammates are our friends, and I really do want to like keep those friendships. Like all of you guys were my teammates at some point and currently are, and it's really cool that we can still be friends after that. Yeah.
It's definitely a matter of, do we suppress these emotions? Do we just try to channel them through the ball? That's what the is all about.
Yeah.
I remember even
Keep going.
but even with volleyball too, I remember, I saw this quote and it was, you don't know, like, if you really love the sport, you're gonna cry over the sport. And so I remember just, you give so much time, you give so much energy. A lot of interconnectedness comes from a sport that you like truly thrive in. And I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, it's over. Like after our very last high school thing, and that was the same night we had like a high school like choir concert, band concert, so it was combined, and so it was just senior send off, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. I have no more choir, I have no more volleyball, no more theater, nothing, and I just broke down in that in and out parking lot, and I felt so bad for anyone who saw me.
I remember after that club season game, I remember which one you're talking about. The last point was had, and I called it before the game. I was like, last point's going to be had. I'm going to be burst out crying. Me and my friend who were both graduating that year looked at each other, and we had just become friends. We looked at each other and just started bawling. We tried to smile, and then we both went, oh no, and because she's in Alabama now, and I never get to see her, which is so sad. But and that's why I'm so glad I get to see you guys. But it's really weird because you go from seeing each other 2 to 3 times a week, playing big sports, and thinking, oh my god, this is the last time I'm ever playing. And it's not just with these people; it's with the club that you call your family for years. It's with the team that you've grown up with. Everyone knows you there, and now you're going to a new place and no one knows you. Or like when you were saying you didn't know that you were gonna keep going, that I'm terrified for that last game. That
Yeah.
sophomore night is going to kill me next year.
Quickly, I want to add on the physical whole of it all. Just like, well, you are an athlete, so you are strong, you are healthy. Yet the sport that you play, it really varies. And all of
Yeah.
us, having said played volleyball or playing in volleyball, like for me, I play as a libero, so that's a lot of passing, a lot of moving, a lot of shuffling with my legs. Generally, everything on my legs. So I felt really sore after like playing games, like my calves, my feet, my soles, and like I feel like the worst part is like my knees, like I would get so much bruises and like burns, and just going out in public and like wearing shorts is like something that I find like as an insecurity, because like I don't want people to see my knees all like burnt up, and like it's just through volleyball.
Yeah.
But that's like the physical toll of it all. It's like that sweats make it worth it. But I see it as like battle sport to me.
Yeah.
Like it's like I earned these. Like I
Yeah.
worked hard for them, even
Yeah.
though they're like injuries, I guess.
And as a person that's played front row my entire time, whenever I get off the court from having to pass, the other day I was standing next to coach. I came off, went next to coach. I went, why do they do that on purpose for games all day? Because I literally had to do one roll. My hips hurt, my back's hurt. Like it's all different with different positions. I mean, I
Yeah.
play front row. It's on my legs and back too, but at the same time, it's different because you're diving all the time, but I'm jumping,
Yeah.
and it's you have the outside scars and some inside. But then I have all the inside scars because I'm not diving and getting bruised. It's kind of crazy the different injuries that can happen. I mean, and Ava, you had some pretty interesting information on injuries, right? You did.
Yes, I did.
You got this, girl.
What were we talking about?
Sprains.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sprains. A lot of sprains and just in general, like injuries and stuff like that, they just wear you down over time. And I think over 60% or so, like, deal with that even after sport. And it's so hard to even just get around the house, just move and everything.
My junior year, playing soccer, because I've had like small injuries and I've had big injuries before, like ACL injuries, stuff like that. But I got my first like head injury my junior year of soccer, which was a concussion that completely took me out of the sport for a year and took me out of school for a little while. And like even to this day, I have to deal with like the like symptoms, I guess, of like getting that concussion. And it's like I guess like there's not that much they could do like within sports to like prevent those, but like some really serious injuries can come out of sports, and that can end up being like lifelong injuries. Like I said, I got a head injury my junior year, and like I've always been pretty good in school, but it's like numbers and letters. I've got like bad dyslexia from this concussion. Like numbers and letters have gone so much harder to deal with from one concussion, and it's like I even went to like therapy after for like it sounded so dumb what I would say because I was going to therapy for my eyeball. I've never gone to therapy for my eyeball. But it's like when I'm telling I have to go do eye push-ups, it was so annoying. Like I have to go to therapy for months from a concussion, like something that happened in like 1 second, like hit with the ball, and it was like done. Like my junior year was over from like one quick contact. And it's like now it's just like I'm still suffering, like having to deal with and try to work through like the symptoms of like a sports-related injury. And I feel like so many people go through that with like knees, hips, back, like joints are one thing that's like really big, and it's like you'll talk to like adults and stuff that talk about how they played and how they have bad hips from like sports, or they have bad knees or something from sports. Like sports can cause like lifelong injuries.
Yeah, and just a little TMI, I guess, but I've had so many injuries. It's kind of crazy. Like not as many as other people, but I've been in and out of physical therapy since I was young. I mean, in the beginning, it was just because random aches and pains, and it was like, okay, we need to strengthen this. But then right before my sophomore year, I was gonna try out for varsity. I was so excited. I sprained my ankle during summer. and it was bad. It's still on the internet somewhere. One of the coaches filmed it, and he didn't cut out the part where I got hurt, but he cut out other parts. I was like, okay, thank you. But then before that fully healed, I re-injured it during sophomore year. He's like, I'm ready, coach. I'm back. And he was like, okay. And then on your home court, I hurt myself, which was kind of crazy. Yeah. And then the next season, I was all healed. I was ready. I played all of club. I was good. And then I re-injured it in a different way from a different type of injury. The first one was moving in. The last one was out. It was kind of crazy. I had to be in a boot for a few more months. And then now I have knee problems that it's called jumper's knee. It's called patella tendonitis that a lot of people go through, especially jumpers. And I think a few soccer players I heard have it too. But it's something that's going to stay with me for a lifetime. And it's just inflammation in the tendon. And it's not even, people are like, oh, well, it just acts up when you're playing sports, right? No, it's like, if I sit like this for too long, it's going bad. Yeah, so when you say it stays with you for a lifetime, it really does. But honestly, I'm gonna say it's worth it. I've had so much fun, and it's just sports has been my life for so long. Of course, I'm gonna get injuries from it, and like you said, the battle scars. It's a little embarrassing wearing shorts in public, but I'm definitely like, you know what? If they ask questions, they ask questions. They're gonna find out that I was into sports my whole life. I actually pursued it, and I kept up with it. Because a lot of people, when they start to see those different scars, they're like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Why do I want to do this?
Like
But
the coming back
yeah,
is really hard. And that's what I noticed. Like when you're trying to go back to the sport from an injury, there's like a process, like all these rules you have to follow to go back. And especially with that concussion, it was months long of this like list I had to follow. And so it's like, yeah, I get to go to practice and I get to dress out, but I just get to run laps. Like I can't do anything with the ball yet. And it's like I have to do that for weeks. And then I'm watching everyone and like watching everyone in the games, and it's like I want to be out there so bad, and I have to sit on the sidelines and like just watch everyone play, and that causes such a mental toll on like athletes, because like you feel like you can't do that, like what they want to do, like what you want to do, you can't go perform with them. Or like being a captain, like I just felt like I couldn't show up for my team as much. Like I can't be there like for my team. And I know some people say like selfish or something, like you feel like they can't play without you. It's not that, but it's like I know like how I can help the team, and so it's like I felt like I was kind of holding my team back in a way. Like I said, I couldn't show up for them how I felt like I should have. And it's like, yeah, I can be on the sidelines, and I'm a very vocal person in sports, so it's like I've talked to my teammates on, and I'm trying to help like the younger girls who are trying to fulfill my position. But it's like at the same time, like it's not showing up for my team how I want it to, and it like causes a big mental toll.
Yeah, and I totally get what you mean. When I had a very slight concussion, nowhere near what you had, but it was still a process coming back, because they were like, you have to be able to go on a bike for 30 minutes, and you got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then you can come back to a non-contact practice, and then you can come back to a full practice. But if your head even hurts a little bit, you're out for another week. And it's like kind of connecting the mental and physical toll. That mental block from that physical injury is really hard to get past. We talked about that today in the sports therapy thing with the whole group, because when I came back from my injuries, because it's all on the right side, I have a really hard time swing blocking to the right, because I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna hurt myself, I'm gonna land on my teammate, it's gonna go down, because that's how it always happened. I always landed on a teammate that got out of place, or someone who came under the net. Yeah, I know, right? Like, please don't happen. But it was always a big thing for me coming back from those injuries, because you get that mental block, and then everyone's like, well, you have to jump now, you're okay to jump, just jump. And you're like, but if I jump, I'm gonna hurt myself. And then it took months for me to get past the mental block, because all I wanted to do was jump. But then when I finally get up there to jump, it's like it's not my full vert that I could get to. It's kind of crazy and scary.
Sometimes what you also see is like the opposite, like athletes not putting their injury first.
Like
That's like a big thing. Like athletes see something and think it's so small, and then like it ends up being a lot bigger. And like I've done a lot of research on concussion since having one, and because after I got my first one, like I went to school the next day. Like I thought like that's I just felt like I was like, okay, like I still want to play my sport, so I have to show that I'm okay. So I have to go to school and all this, and like obviously ended up making it worse. I was out of school for like 2 weeks. Like I ended up making the concussion worse. And athletes who have like injuries, they like hurt themselves in practice, and either they don't want to speak up, or sometimes like they can hide it. Like sometimes you do it and like nobody sees it, and so you keep trying to play through it, and like you end up like fully ripping a muscle, tearing a muscle, something, instead of just straining it because you pushed your body like past its physical limit because you're trying so hard for this team. And it's like a
Yeah.
lot of athletes end up with worse injuries because they push themselves too far.
I think I want to note, but it also comes through that validation that you do get, because
Yeah.
it can just be like little like bruises or like my back hurts just a little bit, but I myself I like to push myself just through the minor
Yeah.
ones, because I like I feel sort of valuable and
Yeah.
like needed, and it's like I don't want to let my team down, so it's just like that little gray area that makes it seem like it's a
Yeah.
little okay to push yourself when you can, but otherwise, yeah, if you have a freaking concussion, then
Yeah.
you can't push through that.
I just feel like something like to go off what you're saying too is like people might see it like the wrong way, but like as a starter, you do feel
Yeah.
needed, and it's like you're not trying to say that the people that aren't starting are like less than you or below you, but like you earned that spot and you have that spot for a reason, and like you are there, like you fulfill that spot for a reason. So when you're taken out, like and it's not your choice, yeah, like it feels like you're letting that spot down, like you're letting your team down. Now you have to put someone, and not saying they're like not as good as a player as you, but that's not you. And so like it feels like you are letting the team down in a way, like you do have like your roles not being fulfilled. And so like I feel like sometimes that can be seen like taken the wrong way, but it's like you earned that spot as a starter for a reason. It's not like selfish to say that you feel like you're letting your team down by not being able to be there.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, my junior year, when I got my second, well, third-ish ankle injury, I went to practice the next day. My entire it happened during a game, and my entire team. I had to have one of the. I love her to death. She's one of the shortest girls on the team. She got in my face. She said, "Go sit down on the bench. I'm not having you get injured again." It was hilarious, but I went and sat down on the bench, and I went to practice the next day. I ended up actually getting yelled at because I told her that day. I was like, "Hey, my ankle hurts a little bit, but I'm gonna play through it." And she's like, "You need to let me know the night before." Coach wasn't even at the game. I was like, "Okay, I'll let you know next time when I see you." And then I ended up leaving that practice in tears because it hurt so bad. But I was like, I'm a starter. I have to be here. I have to be here for my team. They need to know that I'm strong. But I had to leave early because I couldn't. I could, and I've always been that person where even though I get mental blocks before I get the injury, everyone's like, oh, just self-limit. There are no limits.
Yeah.
People don't understand that my pain tolerance is different from yours. So what I might think is normal. Like I was talking to a friend the other day. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is normal." She's like, "No, that is not normal. You need to stop." And I'm like, "Well, I can't. That's not how it works." But thank you for your input.
I feel like along with that, like that's where good coaching helps as an athlete because like you need a coach who understands like they don't know your limits, but like they just need to support your limits.
Yeah.
Like if I'm saying it hurts too much, like that means it hurts too much. It's like if you're trying to be like, I get sometimes when I encourage them to keep playing, but like when a coach is pushing you toward, it's hard to say no to the coach, and so you end up pushing yourself too far, and it's like then you're pushing your body too far and you're making it worse. So it's like then you have the coaches that try to like sit you down and I'm like, okay, like it's just a bruise. So it's like the coaches end up playing such a role in like mental and physical like aspects of the game that like it's hard. Like now I'm outside of sports, I'm coaching sports, like trying to like see that in the athletes is hard. But like having good coaches definitely helps like me know my limits mentally and physically too.
Yeah. I was lucky enough growing in my club team that I had an amazing coach that even though I was hurting, he got to know me well enough throughout the years that if he saw me limping, he would just be like, "Okay, was it just a little bit or a lot? Because I will make you sit out." Because he knows I don't self-limit. But other times he'll be like, "Okay, you're fine.
Yeah.
If you say you're fine, I trust you." But then sometimes he'll see me go, "I'm okay." He's like, "Really? How bad does it hurt? A 6? Okay, please go sit down. I can tell." Because you're right, it really does take a good coach. 'Cause some coaches will push you past your limits when you know, and then other coaches will be like, "I need you to be safe. We need you this weekend. Relax. You're good." Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else? Anything like that?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we got a lot of good info and like point of views too on what it really is to be a student athlete. And it's hard, honestly, but at the end of the day, there are moments that are worth it.
Oh yeah,
From what
for sure.
from what we said.
The memories that always last.
Yeah. Well, anyway, again, I'm Jasmine Ting. This is Ava Haven, Jessica Willock, Brianna Dixon. We are 4 Chicks, No Scripts. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey!